Okay, picture this. What if you sold your entire stock in a company, making a massive profit? And then, just days later, a government announcement sends that exact stock into a total nosedive. Is that a wild coincidence, or just really, really good timing? Well, that's the big question at the heart of this whole Nazara Technologies controversy.
So let's paint a picture here. 1 minute, Nazara Tech stock is doing great, riding high. The next, its value just plummets. And it all happens right after a new gaming bill gets passed. We're talking a sharp, immediate drop that just wiped out a ton of value for anyone who is still invested.
And that brings us to the real mystery, doesn't it? How on earth did one of the company's biggest investors manage to cash out at the absolute peak just days before the crash and avoid a colossal loss? This is the question that's got the whole market talking.
Now, the investor at the center of all this is Rekha Jhunjhunwala. She manages the estate of her late husband, the absolute legend, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. And the sheer scale of her exit from Nazara Tech, it's honestly staggering. Let's just break down the numbers, because they're pretty wild.
So just think about this for a second. In June of 2025, she sells her entire stake. We're talking over 26 lakh shares, all hitting the market at once. This wasn't just trimming a position or taking a little profit off the table. Nope. This was a complete and total exit.
And the timing, wow, the timing was just incredible. She sold at a fantastic average price of around 1,225 rupees per share. That's basically capturing the stock's value right at its absolute peak. You really couldn't have timed it better.
When you do the math, it all adds up to this absolutely staggering grand total: 334 crore rupees. An enormous amount of money, pulled out just days before the news that would send the stock tumbling down.
So what on earth caused this market shockwave? Well, the trigger was a government move that seems to have caught a lot of people by surprise: the online gaming bill. And this, right here, is the other half of our story.
You see, this bill was a total game changer, and definitely not in a good way for the industry. It basically banned online games that involved real money, which strikes right at the heart of the business model for a lot of these companies. The result? You guessed it: immediate and widespread panic among investors.
And the impact was brutal. You can actually quantify it. In just 5 trading sessions after the bill was passed, Nazara's stock plunged by over 17%. I mean, that is a rapid, painful decline for anyone who is still holding on. Ouch.
So as you can imagine, Nazara's management is watching this panic, and they quickly try to do some damage control. They put out a clarification, basically saying, hey, hold on, our direct revenue from real money gaming is 0, and our exposure, like our small stake in PokerBaazi, is really limited. It was a clear attempt to calm the markets and distance themselves from the fallout.
Right. So you've got this perfectly timed, massive sale, immediately followed by a sector-shaking government announcement. You put those two things together, and it's no surprise that it sparked a really fierce debate. Was this just a brilliant strategic move? A stroke of incredible luck? Or was there something more going on here?
A lot of the criticism really boils down to this one key concept: information asymmetry. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's the idea that one person in a deal might have more or better information than the other person, and that creates what feels like a fundamentally uneven playing field.
And critics did not stay quiet. Startup founder Akshat Srivastava really voiced a common frustration, didn't he? He framed it as a situation where well-connected insiders might be benefiting while retail people lose. His comment really just captured the public's concern perfectly.
And you saw that same feeling just echoing all across social media. This comment here pretty much sums up that widespread suspicion, the belief that the wealthy simply have access to better information and that this is, just the harsh reality of the market.
So let's just lay out the two sides of this argument real clearly. On one side, you have the accusations. Critics are pointing to the timing, saying it's just too perfect to be a coincidence, and it suggests someone had access to non-public info. But then, on the other side, you've got the defenders. They argue this could just be a smart, strategic exit. Maybe it was just normal portfolio rebalancing, or a decision made based on publicly known risks about potential gaming regulations. Both are pretty plausible stories.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. This whole thing isn't just a story about one company or one investor. It brings up these really fundamental questions about fairness and transparency, questions that honestly affect every single person who participates in the market.
All right, so let's just quickly put it all together one more time. The sale, over 26 lakh shares for a whopping 334 crore rupees. And it happens in June 2025. Right after that, the online gaming bill hits. The stock plunges over 17%, and it kicks off this massive public debate about what's fair in the market.
And that really leaves us with this final, lingering question. Now, to be clear, no official allegations of wrongdoing have been confirmed here. But an event like this forces all of us to ask, in a market that's so driven by information and such high stakes, is the game ever truly completely fair for everyone involved? Something to think about.